Welcome everybody. My name is Wendy and I'm back and you are watching Wendy Makes Art. It is Tuesday, which is my favorite day of the week because it's Art Tip Tuesday and we are going to extend a little bit of what I was doing earlier today, only we're gonna paint some crazy birds. So first, I have to update you. Earlier today, I was a guest on Art School Live. It is a YouTube channel. Go follow it. Go check it out. And let me see if I can put a link in the chat to, let's see. Oh, it wants me to sign in. Can you believe that? I'm not signed in. Let's see if I can remember all my sign-in stuff. Oof, I don't know. Let's see. Sorry guys, we'll just give everybody a chance to get on. And oof. Log in. I don't know if this is my username. We're going to try it. It'll probably say no. I'll try this one. Oh, look, I think it let me in. I can't believe it. There you go. Okay, so welcome everybody. Let's do this all over again. Let me tell you what I've got here. So I brought into the studio my gouache Nova series sketchbook. And let me show you a little bit about what I've been up to. This was from earlier today. Of course, I didn't finish it. I only had about 40 minutes. But I had painted it already to show everybody. And then I have some other new ones in here. This is an old barn. And this little guy I found in Australia in a zoo. Isn't he cool? This cool chameleon. I thought it was a lot of fun. This bird came and visited us while we were eating. So just a few little pieces for you to enjoy. And then we're going to go to a clean spread and paint some birds. Now, I don't know how many of these colorful birds we're going to get through, but we're going to take a stab at it. And I thought they were a whole lot of fun. I call this guy, I named him Fat Tuesday, by the way, because he is completely in the color of Mardi Gras. And check it out. He's got like the purple chest and the yellow on bottom. So we're going to start with this guy and we're just going to kind of fill this page. And then eventually I will fill it in with trees and foliage and things for them to stand on. I usually like to pick a color to draw in watercolor pencil. And for this guy, I'm going to pick a purple. We're just going to use this kind of purple. Now I want you to be able to see what I'm doing here, so that kind of helps. And he's got a teeny tiny little head going on over here, so I'm going to loosely kind of get his general shape. We've got a big oval right here, right, and then it comes up to his little tiny head, and right in here doesn't quite go to the halfway mark, or is his feather, and back down. And I haven't committed a lot to drawing this yet. I'm just kind of getting a general feel for the bird itself and where its shapes are. And then there's kind of a V in here, and I think we could make these not incredibly detailed just to get through 6 of them. I have 6 fun, colorful birds to share with you today. So I'm just going to kind of do our best to get through them quickly. And now I can get a little crazy. So I'm going to chop him into easy to see pieces so we can color him. And we're going to paint these big and loose and fun. So he's got his eye in here. This shoulder comes down here. And he's got this green wing. His feathers come in here. It's got a little pointy thing down here. It's kind of got a loose feather like he got in a battle. And right in here, this yellow belly, and his feet are kind of tucked underneath him. Right in here and here on a stick. And it looks like he's at the very end of a stick. Like he could not have picked a more remote edge of the stick to stand on. And then the purple comes right down in here. It's got this, the rest of his body and then his tail and feathers come down behind. Go West! Yes, it is a grand painting day. So fun. So if anybody who jumps online wants to watch the Streamline Art School Live from earlier today, go on the link that I put in chat and jump over there and you guys can watch that later. It's a lot of fun. I'm also, after we're done tonight, I still don't have this thing in frame. I'm going to post in the comments area for YouTube a link so that you can get a sheet of these birds and then you can print it out and paint them yourself if you want to. Now he looks a little skinny in my drawing. I think I made him thinner than he actually is, so I'm gonna chunk him up a little bit because he's just super fun. Give him some of that. And let's just go at it with gouache before we go on to our second bird and block it in with big colors. So I'm just going to use a number 10. It's probably about 1/2 inch, maybe not quite, and some gouache, and I'll just move my palette over here. And this is a lot of fun because we're going to just pick some colors up and fill it in quickly. And I kind of want a blue-gray is what I'm looking for. Like that. Maybe a little lighter. It's too light. And let's kind of see how it looks when we lay it on here. I want this to be fun and big and chunky and give these birds just a little bit of character tonight. And then he's got this shadowy area in that gray, so I'm going to darken it up a little bit, everything here. That's sepia, ultramarine. Kind of make that little darker right in there. Underneath in here, he's got quite a bit of purple. So let's see what kind of purple I can get with the quinacridone rose and ultramarine blue. And I think it's gonna lean more, we're gonna have different colors in here. Let's throw that in there. Darken it up even more. And I could add a little bit of this Pyro Scarlet to darken it too. We're just gonna throw this in here on his chest. Now we've got 6 birds, so I really only have about 10 minutes per bird if I want to get through all 6. So we're gonna try to rush ourselves and just plow through the birds. Everything's going to the birds. My daughter and I went to Australia, as I mentioned, and we focused on the wildlife. We found that we really, really loved seeing animals and wildlife that we don't normally really get to see. Koalas, lemurs, things that we may be lucky enough to find in a zoo here, but in general, they're not here. So we had a grand time just exploring zoos and the wildlife in the zoos. And I brought so many great photos back. That's a little too bright. Probably needs to be darker, but it may darken up as it dries. I'm not quite sure if it will. Go West, I know that you have a fabulous blooming apricot tree, right? In your yard? Did you get some good photos of that before those blooms are gone to paint? We're excited. We're going on a painting adventure this weekend in Abiquiu, which, if you guys are familiar with any work by Georgia O'Keeffe, she ended up buying a home and living in the Abiquiu Ghost Ranch area. And it is an incredibly inspiring place as an artist to go paint. So we have a bunch of artist friends with the Planner Painters of New Mexico who are all heading to paint in that area this weekend. And we're all like super duper excited about it. Now I'm going to add a little more of a turquoise blue green, but it still needs to be a rich green. A little more blue. And that's going to be down here. And I'm probably already behind on my time, right? You know what's funny is this paint, when I paint it, I look up on screen and it's just not the same colors on screen. And gray, a little more blue, a little more of this. Kind of clean my colors up sometimes when I'm making a gray. I'll go in and just pick a little bit of everything and throw that in here. Just put a big chunk of that in there. And I need a little more of a dark color right in here. And then let's grab a small brush and give him a little beak. It's like an orangish color up in here. And I definitely want to highlight trying to get a good gray again, guys. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm going to go around here and in here. It's got a little tough under here. And then like this dirty gray on the end of his beak right in here. And usually if I need to show where this darkness is, like once I'm filling this in, I'll have some earthy colors that when I lay in blocks of color like this, will help form the outer edge of that bird so we can see him in all of the foliage. Then I also need a little bit of black. So I've got some in here because I have too much drawing in the eyeball. So I'm just gonna fill his little eye in, clean this a little bit under there. Add a little more on where this wing comes in. There's a nice black patch underneath his feet, right in here. And a couple places underneath his wings, which we'll be filling in with foliage later anyway. And then I can mix that and just make a couple little lines. Bring in here. I need to outline where some of these feathers are. And that's pretty much it. Okay, went way over on him, but we're gonna move on to the next bird. So here we go. Let's go over to here. And we're gonna pick this guy. Isn't he cool? So I'm gonna get my red pencil out and I'm gonna just kind of fill him in right in here. We may only get 4 of these guys today. He's very patriotic. This guy is red and blue. My kitten is losing her mind right now. I don't know what her deal is, but she is not happy. I think she just has had enough. She wants attention. So she's up to no good behind me right now. Okay. So fun little head bonnet. And I'll come in here now that I have his head sized. Caveat, I have no idea how these guys actually in life size to each other. Okay? So this guy could be bigger than this guy, smaller. I don't know. I'm placing them on the page and going for it because I saw them at different zoos, not together, all kinds of different locations. So could have been anything. And this is a fun one to practice. Red. I've got burgundy in here. I'm going to give him a stick to hang out on. It's got a little bit of bright color sticking out from under this wing right here. And it looks like he has a short tail. And then this guy comes down in here. So we're just going to kind of do that. His head's going to look very big next to tiny pigeon head over here. I should probably make that pigeon head just a little less wonky or a little more like that. That may help him. Since he has such a little head, I think that looks a little better. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the bigger brush and clean my red out first. Actually, a good way to clean this would be to go into both of these and then some of that blue and start building this base burgundy or putting it in here. Just so I have some color. I'm going to put more on top because it's still too bright, but it gives me some color in there. And I want this all super clean because I'm going to mix the scarlet and a little bit of this rose, and let's see what we get for this bird's head. We'll come back in here and just give him an eye later. I thought I was going to be smart and curve it out, but no, not. Now this looks a little too of an orange red. My cat is up to no good. I don't know what she's doing. What you doing back there, Pogo? Huh? Causing trouble? She's like, I don't know, Mom. You're painting birds. Don't I want to hunt those? Okay. We'll come back to that. And then we've got a bright blue. So I got to clean a bit of this up. Maybe we'll mix it over here in some of this mud and add a little bit to, not quite right, nope. Not quite right. So I'm gonna come in here and I grabbed some cerulean and some ultramarine. And I'm just going to put where these blue feathers are right here. And he's got a little bit that comes down here. And it almost looks a little green. Now we're being, he's behind stuff, so it's hard to see him back in here. And then I'm going to go into the magenta, the sepia, and then add ultramarine blue to it. Make it really nice and dark. So I've got ultramarine blue, sepia, and a little bit of this magenta that we're gonna put on the back of his feathers right here. Make them really hard to see. Oh, Lebowski, I know, but I didn't. It was one more job for me to do, Mon. I didn't need another job. Besides, you're here now, so it's all good. Okay, let's put his little beak in, or start to. There's a highlight, and then it gets a little gray. So pick up a bunch of different colors and make a darker gray for right in here and the end of his nose and a little bit down there. And then I'm going to go back to my black again. Instead of wiping out the red line, I'm just going to paint right over it in here. And also in the bottom of this bottom beak. Now we need to put a bright yellow round circle where his eye is. Uh-oh, Cat's really wound up. She wants over here so bad. She's trying every way she can to make it to get in my paint water. I know that's what she wants. So I'm gonna draw that line right there. And then I'm gonna fill it with black. Now this is where I can make some variations on the red and kind of imply where this has a darker shadow on that in his face around the eye right here and here. and even little tufts that start up in here. So behind the head. And start to put that in there. My cat is coming at it a different way now. She's trying to sneak up behind me. Just heads up. You guys can't see all the variation I just did in there. I looked and sadly, nothing. No variation for you to see. I am going to put kind of some colors in here. So we have a little more to make their head stand out than just black. Okay. Hey, we caught up on a little bit of time, but not bad. Oh, and there's a bright feather down here. It almost looks orange. Right down at the bottom peeking out. And the rest of this is pretty blue-black. So blue, maybe some sepia. Sometimes I'll add a little bit of rose to darken it up. And then we just put that in there. And I'll have to add some crazy greens back in the back just to kind of show where that bird is back in the back right here. So kind of like putting that all in. There's his branch. And we can even add a little bit of a brighter red right in here and up in here. And then blend it in a little bit with another level of color that comes in there. This may direct darker, so that should probably help. Okay, we got two birds. Some ideas of foliage right there. Let's see what we got. You ready for bird 3? Here we go. Ta-da! All right, now we've probably, I don't know if you guys ever have seen one of these in real life. Why does this camera look unfocused? It does, doesn't it? That's a little weird. All right, we'll go with it. I'm gonna get a pink, let's see, pink. Let's get a pink pencil. And we're gonna put this guy right in here. So right kind of like in smack dab in the center and give him a perch that comes across. So maybe I have to lower it right to here. It'll be a little bit over the breaking point, but I think it'll be okay. So let's start where his head is, and he's kind of got a big tuft of feathers going on here, and then his body is going to come down. And then his toes come out in here. kind of stick his face up here. Because I want to fit birds over in this side and down below. It may be too, he's too crunched. I think he's way too crunched. Okay, so we're gonna sheet this. And I'm just using water. Check that out. I just erased the whole thing. So you can go in here and just add water and wipe that pencil right off, which is one of the reasons I like the watercolor pencil. Gives you a lot of freedom. So that being said, I'm going to move him over. And I also didn't think he was chunky enough compared to the other birds, so I wanted to kind of make him a little chunkier, I guess. So he's got these fun shapes. It comes up to his beak. If his beak is here, right here, and then cuts in, and then out of the top of his head, he's got this piece that kind of like a round piece, like right in there. And then he's got a cap that goes all the way around his eye and on the back of his head. And then this fun little pink tuft. He was fluffed up, so there's this pink tuft on the left of that beak. And then these feathers down in here were all kind of puffed up right in here. And I call him a he. I don't know if he was a he or not. And then more feathers. Comes down in here. And then this one over here, we're just gonna kind of put right there. And then his little feet. Toes go over the perch. Little one tucked in here and here and right there. And of course he found like this one little part that's a dip in the tree that he's on, which I think is endearing. So we're gonna put this, and it goes down to here. We wondered if we could even connect it to this tree. I think we could. Let's just connect these two trees. And that's something I can come back and work on later. And then an idea of where his eyeball is. And we'll leave him here. Okay. So let's see what we got. Pinks. Creams, so I'm cleaning up. I've got so much yellow in this that I'm going to clean it out of my white and then get a little bit of this pink in here. Now there's a little bit of it in stuff on top of him. That is not blue enough. I can tell right now. So I'm going to pick up cerulean, put that in the mix, and let's see what we've got. If it's a little closer, we'll see how it dries, and then may have to add it again. And then his little beak. So a little bit of that at the top, and then it gets yellow, just a tiny touch. You guys probably can't even see what I just did there. So let me pick up a couple different colors in this pink. There's a highlight right here. And of course we've got all kinds of different strengths of that pink. I'm using both the Pyrrole Scarlet and the Quinacridone Rose to mix these pinks, by the way. Because neither one is quite right, but mixed together, they're a lot better. And then they kind of just get lighter as it goes down his belly, and maybe even a little bluer as we go down in here. Guys, I gotta check on my cats. So hold on a second. I see one in here, but I've got to make sure that both of them are in because I hear coyotes outside. So hold on a second. Hey, can you close the cat door? Yeah, the cat's in now? Yeah, they're both in. Okay, everybody, cats are safe. Yay. Yeah, he is fun, isn't he, Go Wes? And I'm just kind of like laying this in a little bit like his feathers so I can come back and add stuff for the darker areas. I'm trying to get that idea of his tufted, puffy look. Boy, if we were all described as having a tufted, puffy look, we'd be offended. I don't think he would, though. So pretty. Okay, now I want more of that blue-gray color. So I'm going in and adding a bunch of blue. And this is way too bright, I would say, up on top. So I gotta darken it up quite a bit. Around his little eyeball, where that eye would be. A little bit up in here. Come back to that eye, make it right. And then his side, these wings, just the fact that he has these blue-gray wings with that crazy pink belly is just fabulous. I mean, it's just so unusual. No, it went a little too far. It went over the log. Oh well. And even his, like down here, I love that this part back underneath him is gray. These feathers back here. Gotta get enough different colors in it to neutralize it. You keep it dark. So like right in there. And I probably need to make that a little darker around. Make a nice dark color, but not nope. It's not quite right. It's not blue enough. Just cheat and go into the black. It's okay, guys. You can cheat and use the black. I don't know why I think it's cheating. It's not. Anybody watch any good movies lately? You know, in light of animals and having such a long flight home, I did watch the cartoon Zootopia on the flight home, and it was adorable. Zootopia 2. Zootopia 2. I was very amused. Super cute. Now, a little bit of pink, like a lighter pink here and there, especially underneath this eye. And then I need it really magenta rich. So, see if I can get it even richer. Like that. A little bit of that. And then throw some of that in underneath. It's not quite dark enough. So, you know what it reminds me of painting is flowers. Reminds me a lot of painting roses. Painting this guy. Ooh, Hail Mary. I've wanted to see that. Did I read the book? Maybe not. No, I don't think I did. But it's the same author who wrote The Martian, I believe. And that movie was so good and just so, like, you can watch that thing again and again. So good. Okay, get the general idea with him. Not quite fully resolved, but we've got the idea. Oh, let me give him some little light toesies. Little blue toesies, kind of. Just so we have them in here. So he has some blue down in here, and then he's got little toe, little toe. I made them way bigger in the drawing than they are. And the top of that log can get some bluish neutrals on it as well, so I can bring that in on the log. Help blend some of my other stuff. Kind of just put that in there for now. Okay. Yeah, I don't even have over on this guy, like he's on the end of a little stick. Let's put a stick in here. Put that stick right there. Give him something to stand on. Okay, let's go and see what we've got next. Now, I think Go West, this one, next one may be your absolute favorite. This pigeon is a riot. Look at him. Isn't he outrageous? I love him so much. So he is, let's draw him with, ooh, I don't know, maybe even a crazier purple. No, maybe this one. Let's try this purple color, if I can get it to work. Okay, so he's pretty amazing. We'll have him come up here with his little crazy head. Look how he has a purple helmet on his head. Looks like a bike helmet, doesn't it? But the colors on this bird are amazing. He's got magenta, like neon purple pink, and then green, and then orange, little blues and greens, and then the band, this chest band with the, I don't know, it's pretty amazing. I think he's an amazing bird. So he's at a really odd, and even his eye is interesting, how his eye is outlined. Kind of comes in here and around. I may have to do some cleanup. And then his little beak. And then wherever his eye caps, then there's this part, and then this guy, we've got the side of the beak, and then it kind of comes down like this. So and then over. And I love how wide he is. He's just come down here, and I'm looking at this space kind of in between. So let's clean this up right here. And this, so we can see it better. And this. And then this comes down to about there. There's a band, and this is where we come over. So I think this is what's so very cool about him is he's got these orange sideburns. We're going to call them orange sideburns because that's kind of what it is. And then wing comes down. This one kind of comes in and up and over. He's got scallops, almost like 4 scallops in here, in that band that goes around. And then I like how it's kind of got like a wild edge to it. And then a creamy yellow belly. I mean, how awesome is that? He's got this creamy, and even look at these above his legs. There's like little chunks of green tuft in here. He is so cool. So I don't know what kind of birds these are. I haven't asked Google yet. The AI can just take the picture and tell you what it is, which is incredible technology these days. And He's got these little tufts. This is maybe the last one we get on here, which isn't bad. 4 out of 6 is, I thought maybe 3 if I was lucky, but I'll take it. I'm not the most detailed birds ever. I will give you a sneak peek though. We'll do a little bit of him and then I'll give you a sneak peek of what's going to be on the sheet that I post in the comments on YouTube so you can download it. So I have it all ready to go. I just have to, oh, there's a fly in here. Load it on Google Drive and then I'll link it. Let me go in here with the yellow and the Pyrrole Scarlet and see what kind of crazy orange color I can get right in here. Pink it up a little bit. Bring that right up to that. And then over here, now without getting that exact color, I don't know how close I can get that head. I don't think I can. I might have to find a paint that is actually that color. Like, because I don't know how else to do it other than to try to pull the illusion off, but it is not a color I have on my palette or even anything close. See, I'll show you like this maybe for the shadow, but definitely not that crazy bright pink. So like I might be able to pull something off. Not even. It's not even remotely close. Nope. So I'm gonna have to do a little digging to see how I could, what paint I have that may be close to this. Otherwise, I can't even reproduce what his head colors are. And that's bonkers. Now I can get, it's got all these greens. Those aren't bad to kind of pull off. And in here. I'm going to be digging through my gouache sets that are more untraditional colors, non-traditional colors, and see what I can find, because that is a crazy bright color. Opera pink may pull it off, and I don't know that I have anything very opera pink in my gouache sets, but maybe. Look at, even his feet are crazy. Look at this. It's like a red, pinky red toes. I love that they gave him a green band on his foot. Like if he wasn't colorful enough. He even has purple, like a true like purple right here on his feathers. And he's got this little yellow line around his eyes. So if we come in here, I want to make him look mad. He looks a little mad. And then he has a second line. And that one disappears a little bit. Ooh, and then I've got that creamy belly yellow that I love. So we gotta get most of this pink out of here to get that. Pink everywhere. Creamy belly yellow. A little creamier. Little tufts in there. And I could give them that purpley, white, pink. It's like a lavender almost under here. Right down here, and a little bit in here, then it gets light again. So it's like this neutral right in here, under the beak, and then it's gray right in here, right up to the beak. There's a couple little like gray splotches in that area. Give him a little more yellow tufts. Okay. And then that band is kind of like a deep purple. It's not black. What are you doing, Pose? Oh, my crazy cat. Gonna throw that in there. I want to put a little bit of gray green on top of that beak. It's light, but it's not too light. Right on top up here. That may be too light. And then that side thing here. And kind of fun gray, tufted in. So I'm kind of just like letting it fall right into that in there. And these bright, bright little yellow colors on the edge of his feathers. Okay, guys, So I am going to show you, he is so wild, right? He's just wildly colorful. You're right. Let me show you the last two birds that we didn't get to, because they're pretty fun also. And then let you all go for the evening. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to tune in. I'll have to give him a branch or something to stand on. He needs something. Throw that in there. And then here we go. I'm going to show you the last two, the ones that got away. There's this guy, and he's kind of similar to this one, except for this guy had a very gray and blue beak and the blue. And this one, his whole belly is red, and he's got green feathers on the back and then black underneath. So he's uber cool. And then my last one, I love this guy. I'm going to blow him up for you. Look at him. His beak is like bright fire orange with yellow on the tip. And he was really curious about us. I love the little red under the tufts of his feathers underneath his wings, and then that blue streak along the edge of his wings. He was a cool bird. So anyway, birds of Australia. I don't know if they are all from Australia, but we definitely found them all in Australia zoos. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see if I can get back on track and in the land of the awake during daylight hours mountain time. It was really tough getting back into this schedule after being on the other side of the planet. So thank you all. Have a great week, guys. Go West. I will see you on Friday. Thanks all. Bye.